Hey, what's up guys? It's Vel and I am back from the PoE 2 console playtest that they just did in LA, and I cannot wait to tell you guys all about it. So, for starters, I decided this time I was going to go in as a monk. The last time I got to play, I played as a ranger, and I thought, there ain't no way anybody is going to beat the ranger. She's where it's at. I gotta tell you guys, monk actually really slaps. Like, I enjoyed the hell out of it. I thought it was so great. It's a melee character, and the melee felt pretty damn smooth. I also went in solo because I didn't have a partner, so I got to do some solo gameplay and see what that felt like on the PS5. There was PS5s set up, and you could have a partner and duo together, and yeah, I got a little, console all to myself, and it was great. So for monk skills, they start you off right on the bat. The first gem that you get is called Falling Thunder. What this does like a small little lightning AoE, and if you get power charges, it makes the AoE bigger. And I gotta tell you, there are other monk skills, but I actually played with that Falling Thunder that you get right off the beach from the start. So some other things, I noticed a lot of people that ended up playing monk did end up using Tempest Bell, and I heard the Tempest Bell really slaps. But instead of the bell, I decided I'm going to be a little bit of a off-meta Andy and use this thing called Frozen Locust. And what that does is it places down this ball of ice, and if you hit it, the ice explodes and does damage. It also expands out some chill as well, and if you don't hit it, it starts expanding out chill, and it's very poggies. But what's really exciting is that you don't actually have to hit it to explode it and do more damage. The enemies will do that too. So you place it down. Oh, I didn't mention that you place it down, and as you do that, it makes you jump away. So you place it down, it jumps away right as the enemy is trying to swing at you. Enemy explodes the ice. Oh, it feels so good. It feels so good. I loved it. I loved it. So I used that in tandem with, at the start, default attack, which honestly hit more than one enemy, which was great, and Falling Thunder, which is fantastic. I later on ended up using a skill that was called Siphoning Strike, and that allowed me to dash towards an enemy and gain a power charge. And then these power charges I used to on Falling Thunder to make it like a bigger AoE. It was really, really nice. And early game skills as well. I will say, as a non-controller user, it was weird. It was weird to use controller at first, but honestly, it wasn't very, it was pretty comfortable. And there are moments in controller play, so for example, any box or a bunch of urns and stuff, you walk up to it and you hit X, and you could just do damage to it and have it explode too, but you could also click X a bunch and be like X, and just get a bunch of things breaking and loot, and it kind of reminds me of the pot room in Zelda. It was just... It's really fun. It was more fun than it had any right to be. I did notice though that the interact and pickup button, it was XX, which was the same. So sometimes you'd end up picking up loot that was kind of, but it was easy to drop. You also have 24 buttons. Using L2, it brings up a whole other set of buttons. And that was pretty nice when you want to try out multiple skills and see what they feel like. And something I really didn't expect to like, but I liked a lot, is it shows you your flash charges as a number, so you don't just spam all your flasks. Instead, you're like, I see I've used one charge and it's going up or whatever. So that was really great. I was concerned that there wasn't any more utility flasks, but I can say that at the end of my playthrough in Act 2, I did find one. So they do exist. I just didn't get a chance to put it on my bar yet to see how that felt. That's my only downside. Speaking of flasks, one of the things that they ended up doing is they took in our player feedback from the last test, and a lot of us said, you need to give us flash charges off of white mobs. So now they did that, and the game feels so much smoother. Like, Act 1 doesn't feel as hardcore as it did initially. So that's super, super nice. And I found that they did tune down some bosses. Like my first time, if you saw the first video, my Devourer fight, a mess. I can't, did I tell you guys how many times I died? Like 85, 100,000? I don't know. I was demoralized by the time I beat it. I was like, I beat it. This time, I went in there. I was like, he's probably gonna kill me a few times. I don't know if it was the monk. I don't know if it was the mix of the monk, the flash charges, I don't know. I smacked him and I felt really, really good. But like, there were still things to worry about. I still had to make sure I dodged his poison. I still had to watch out for the tail slam. He still had ads. Like, there were things you had to still worry about, but it wasn't nearly as like too shoddy or mana intensive or any. It was so much nicer. So much nicer. I can also say that I got to test the monk in Exile Con, the last Exile Con, and it was an Act 1 starter. Night and day difference. Like, the game feels so much better on this monk than it did at Exile Con monk, 100%. I also found something really interesting is in my first video of my playtest back in March, you can see that there is very clearly stat requirements for skill gems. However, as far as I can tell, there wasn't any attribute requirements on any skills until level 4 skills. And I think it was only like 14 dexterity, 14 int. And I haven't seen a single one on any early support gems at all. Now, they are early support gems. I didn't get deep into the tiers, but still, that's actually saying a lot. That is saying a lot. However, there is something I personally am not a fan of, and I would love to hear how you guys feel about it too, which is, as far as it stands, you cannot have 2 of the same support gems socketed. So at first, I thought this was a bug, where I tried to add a second added lightning to another lightning skill of mine with an uncut support gem that I had, and it didn't do anything. I said, uh-oh. So I asked Octavian, is this a bug? And he was like, no, you can only have 1 of each socketed support gem at a time. And the idea behind this was to allow players to experience the flavor of other support gems. So on one hand, I'm like, I like it. But on the other hand, I'm like, I got 3 lightning skills that all do damage, and I want to have added lightning damage. Why can't I have it, right? So it's a bit of a mixed bag. It's a bit of a mixed bag. Now, I did see a post on Reddit that ended up showing off that the skill tree happens to allow you to pick your attributes. You can either have 5 int, 5 strength, 5 dexterity. And I saw some people were not happy about this. They felt that it was something that took away from class identity. I personally felt class identity was very strong. As a monk, your skills are unarmed or quarterstaff based. Your abilities are either blue or green, which indicates either int or dexterity. at the start of the tree, there's, of course, the attribute side you can go up, and then a mix of either the offense you want to take on one side or the defense you want to take. You know, it didn't feel very disjointed or lacked identity to me. Speaking about the skill tree, though, I will say it's a bit odd. It's a bit odd. So as far as it stands, don't believe there's any life on the skill tree. I can tell you that pretty early to me, I found, I think, up to like 12% life recoup. So that was great. I actually love that on the skill tree. Please don't take that away. I love it. And because there's no life right now, 1 strength equals 1 life. So a lot of people are doing, or a lot of people were doing attribute pathing by putting in their attribute nodes as strength to get more life. And personally, I love the idea of being able to put in whatever attribute you want. So this way I'm not gated by like, I found this great helmet. Oh, but I don't have 12 strength. No, I can get 12 strength. It's good, right? I love that. I think that's great. It's like early game, fantastic. And then if I need to balance it later, you can. You can do it. So it's great. I have no problem with that. I also found some mana leech nodes pretty close to my start, and that made me really happy. Mana leech, early-ish on. Don't mind if I do. So yeah, the tree, it's a little weird, but I kind of like what I ended up playing with so far. Again, I really love the attribute changes. And I didn't necessarily mind some of the pathing I had to do. I wasn't feeling like, oh, I had to path through this because I got to get this, right? I saw some things on the tree I really liked. Like there was this inside power charge node that has a 20% chance not to use a charge. So good for a monk that uses power charges, right? So nice. So at the end of the day, my thoughts, Path of Exile 2 is getting better every single time I have played it. It's more interesting. I think that the changes they have been making so far make the game more accessible to a variety of people, not just people that are heavy ARPG fans, because they are doing things like they're trying to add in more tooltip, more information, things like that. I think them listening to our feedback so far is absolutely leaps and bounds compared to what I've heard some other places do. And honestly, they're taking so many steps in the right direction that I cannot wait to get my hands on some more Path of Exile 2. If you guys enjoyed this video, definitely subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, tell me what you think, and I hope to see you guys in the stream.